Okay, cool. This meeting is held in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Annual notice of this meeting was published in the Union County Local Source and the Newark Star Ledger. Said notice was posted in the municipal building and a copy is on file with the Office of the Borough Clerk. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you're alerted for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Proper notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of the meeting. Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Present.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Robina.
Here.
Take that as a here. Councilwoman Lyons.
Here.
Councilman Patel.
Here.
Mayor Signorello.
Here. Please
Here, Mayor.
lead us in the opening prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
We're going to have a quick moment of silence in memory of D-Day. Thank you. Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, there are no communications for review this evening. We are, however, recognizing Adam. How do I do the last name? Lacombe? All right, nice. Adam Lacombe, 2024 Men's Pan American International All-Around Gymnast Champion. Come on up. Coach, you want to come up? Coach Joe, do you guys want to take a couple words, or? Okay.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Adam. Coach Ranieri brought it to my attention, and what a phenomenal thing. We're so proud of you in Roselle Park. I'm very big on athletics in Roselle Park, and I like to honor kids that do very well and everything. So when Coach Ranieri brought it to my attention, I was happy to accommodate and bring him up for this session of Mayor and Council. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Adam, you want to say a couple words? No pressure, man. All right, cool. Well, Adam, just a little certificate of appreciation. We're very proud of you. I propose we make a statue in your honor. Just kidding. This is a joke, but no. All right. But seriously, awesome work. You represent the borough of Roselle Park, and we're very proud of you, man. One more round of applause for Adam.
Hey, what's going on? Congratulations.
Congrats, man. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Okay. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes pending any corrections?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you wish to come up and speak on agenda items, may do so now. Sure it's on the agenda? Okay. Sit right over there. Name and address, please.
Greetings, council members, Mayor Signorello, and fellow residents. My name is Chris Lee. I live at 450 Henry Street, and I've been a resident and homeowner in Roselle Park for almost 10 years. I will be addressing Resolution 135-24, the cannabis transfer tax to the sewer.
Yep.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm before you as a concerned and frustrated member of our community. compelled to address the recent shocking 200% increase in our sewer utility. In our sewer rates, necessitating the transfer of the cannabis tax. This unprecedented hike, which came without any prior notice or adequate justification, has left many of us reeling and searching for answers. The core of this issue lies with the storm sewer system, not the sanitary sewer, yet the financial burden has been unfairly placed on the sanitary sewer utility, a utility that is billed based on our water consumption. This billing method is fundamentally unjust, as it includes water used for purposes such as lawn irrigation, water that never enters the sewer system. Seeing as water usage has zero impact on the storm drains, using that metric punishes residents with lawn requirements unfairly. Moreover, my efforts to seek oversight or intervention from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities have proven futile, as they have indicated that they hold no jurisdiction over this matter. This leaves us without state-level recourse and places an even greater emphasis on local accountability and transparency. The most troubling aspect of this situation, however, is the mayor's assertion that he was advised not to inform residents about the ongoing problem prior to the decision to raise rates. He is quoted as saying he was ordered by the town attorney to not disclose this pending issue with residents who are expected to pay. The decision to keep the populace in the dark is a glaring failure of leadership. Transparency and proactive communication are the bedrock of good governance. By withholding critical information, the mayor and council deprived us of the chance to collectively explore alternate solutions, possibly preventing such a drastic rate increase. Imagine if we had been informed earlier. Our community could have come together, leveraging our collective resources, knowledge, and creativity to find a less burdensome solution. We could have applied for grants, sought state or federal assistance, or devised a phased approach to address the stormwater issue without imposing such a significant financial strain on residents without any notice. As representatives elected to serve and protect the interests of this community, it is your duty to ensure that decisions of this magnitude are made with full transparency and resident engagement. The current approach has undermined my trust and confidence in your leadership. Therefore, I am calling for the following immediate actions. Full disclosure and release of all information regarding the storm sewer issue, including the advice given to the mayor and council, the financial analysis that led to the rate increase, and any other relevant documents. Reevaluation of rates by implementing a temporary rollback of the rate increase while a thorough reevaluation is conducted. Consider more equitable billing methods that do not charge residents for water that does not enter the sewer system, such as discounting water usage from June through August and using other months to average the real use. Community engagement by establishing a task force comprised of council members, residents, and most importantly, experts to explore alternative solutions and funding sources. Engage the community in open forums and discussions to ensure transparency and collective problem solving. Early ideas range from contracting with Elizabeth to keep the system in place, a system that has been in the ground for a century. Perhaps employing federal agencies, such as the EPA, who may have authority to compel Elizabeth to accept our minute amount of runoff that they have been accepting for a century. And accountability for the mayor and council members who were involved in the decision to withhold information. If any impropriety is found, appropriate actions should be taken to restore trust in our local government. By taking these steps, we can begin to rebuild the trust that has been severely damaged and work together to find a fair and sustainable solution to this issue. We deserve leaders who prioritize transparency, accountability, and the well-being of their constituents. Let this be opportunity for you to demonstrate your commitment to those principles. Thank you for your attention and your willingness to address this critical issue head-on. Our community's future depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I appreciate your eloquently worded input. Like, there's very little that I disagree on holistically. There are several points that I want to address, and I've addressed these online. I'm going to address them in person. And I don't know how much time he has, but so unfortunately,
Fill the rest of my time.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. So there's a couple of things I want to address point by point, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to talk about this. If you guys want to talk about it again during your time, go for it, right? So first off, speaking on this.
Can I go back?
Yeah, well, you can hang out there if you want.
Okay,
It's up to you.
my
Okay. So, Joe, Borough Attorney, can you please talk about sort of some of the sensitivity about speaking about this.
Actually filed by the town of Elizabeth against the borough of Roselle Park. Once that occurs, it's very difficult to have those type of conversations that the gentleman just spoke about, because then you're negotiating in public, right? Those discussions, those experts which were retained, which were special counsel for it, engineering, engaged in a conversation with the judge and Elizabeth with regards to the final settlement. So it was my direction and special counsel's direction that the borough could not have public conversation about the nature of those discussions. The lawsuit itself was a public document. It was, notice was given every time we went into executive session at a public meeting that was the topic to be talked about. The specifics as to those topics were not for general consumption.
And I just want to pause there for a second, Joe. We also didn't have the ability to communicate a number because we didn't have a number. So, Andrew, you're the BA. The initial ask in the lawsuit from Elizabeth was, what was the number in back pay?
Somewhere between 30 and 40 million.
Right. So, we did speak where we could on this, right, in talking about some difficulties with neighboring towns. But it's not like we had a hard number to say the impact is going to be this or the impact is going to be this. We negotiated down from $40 million to $4 million in retroactive pay. And I want to be super clear on what that means, right? So the borough of Roselle Park, there's never been any legal agreement for the borough to run off into Elizabeth, right? Stinks. We searched far and wide. It's apparently a handshake agreement since 1904 when the borough was made. No documentation of an agreement. About 10 years ago, the city of Elizabeth monitored our flows and started asking for a fee, right? And that, just to hit one of the things you talked about, we did ask, can we stay on this and just pay you a fee? The fees are exorbitant, and they still don't want us on there, right? So that was not really an option for us. So after years of wrangling with multiple administrations and multiple councils, they pulled the trigger and filed a lawsuit against us. I think it's terrible, right? Like there's no wins here. This is not something that, I didn't wake up one morning and say, well, gee whiz, I hope the city of Elizabeth sues us, right? And you guys have been here, especially this year, because the borough has taken, in some view, controversial steps when it comes to things like marijuana legalization or, art installations, right? And I am more than happy to debate the merits of those things back and forth because that is a policy decision that we can talk about. Is that the right direction for our town? Is that the right direction for our downtown? Is that the right thing to be spending money on? Totally understood. But I feel like there's this misconception that I've been mayor for 6 years. I'm smart enough to know at this point that whacking people last minute, especially the citizens of Roselle Park, is not a fun thing. If this is something that I could have communicated and softened the landing of, believe me, I would have. It's just that simple. The last thing I'm going to say on this on a personal level is there was no and is no incentive for me to have kept quiet about this. If anything, as you can see tonight, the incentive would have been to start prepping everybody for this last year. Unfortunately, negotiations and lawsuits don't work that way. They just don't. The last thing I want to say, one other topic on oversight, right? So here I'm going to talk to Ken. Ken, I want you to talk about the billing mechanism and why it's coming through this. And I also want you to talk about your position as a CFO who's tenured, who was not appointed by me, who is audited yearly by independent auditors and has oversight from the state. And for the fact that we are not allowed to legally raise the water bills unless we have an expense, and we haven't done that in the last 13 years. So I gave you a loaded topic, but I'd like you to hit on those things.
Well, it's an annual requirement of the state of New Jersey that we have an annual audit done by an outside auditor. It's currently Suppley Clooney & Company. They're based out of Westfield, New Jersey. Our audit gets filed with the state. And if there are any recommendations, we have to file what's called a corrective action plan annually. As far as the rate has been based on water consumption since before my time here. I was appointed previously by Mayor Joe DiOrio, who also appointed me for tenure. I've worked with several governing bodies. I've been here part-time since 2005. full-time since January of '07. We had a 13-year span where we did not raise rates in sewer at all. We were able to balance things out. This year, unfortunately, with this lawsuit, we had no choice. We had no choice, and there's other factors in there also, but one of the main ones is this lawsuit. So that's how we based it. And going forward, why it was done through sewer? Because it's in a combined sewer system in Elizabeth. We have to separate that now, and we have a better opportunity to get grants and funding going through the sewer utility.
Now, here are a couple things, and I want to front-run this, because that's not to say I disagree with anybody's frustration here, especially not yours, Chris. There are a couple things that we tried to do this year that I think we need to improve on going forward. If they're going to be heftier payments, unfortunately, again, we settled this lawsuit a month ago,
Correct. Yeah.
right? So we had to move pretty quickly. I do think since the payments are heftier, I'm really pushing next year to do 4 payments versus just the 2. The other thing is, the bill might not stay flat this year. Next year, we're going to actively look through all measures to try and lower that. I just wrote a note that I can't read. Oh, the other thing is measuring the time a year to measure. I do think there's valid input on that. I think that's worth exploring, and I think that's something we should explore going forward. The other thing I just really want to mention. So people keep talking about grants. Yes, there are 100% grants out there. I don't want to sticker shock anybody, but this is to separate, which we legally have to do from the city of Elizabeth, this is a $20 million project, right? That we need to do our own piping from the borough of Roselle Park directly into the Elizabeth River. We are actively looking at all grants that we can for that, through the DP, through state funding, whatever means possible. Grant, I've never heard of a grant, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, grants can cover infrastructure projects. They do not cover lawsuit settlements.
Correct.
Right? There are direct aids potentially that can settle that, but, again, this is something that a grant does not solve. And just the last thing, and I promise I'll shut up, but there's really a lot of important things that you guys need to hit, because, look, you can beat me up for whatever you want to as mayor. And I know there's plenty of reasons why somebody here hasn't voted me or doesn't like me here. Got it, and we can have that philosophical debate. But the idea that I take some joy in raising everybody's rates when I've been thumping my chest about keeping tax flats, it just doesn't jive intellectually. And the last thing I want to say is, people keep talking about whether we did it in the utility or we did it just paid for it elsewhere. The borough of Roselle Park, sadly, would be paying for it one way or the other, right? So we either pay for the fine through the utility or we pay it out of operational budget in the borough. You would see either an increase on your property tax, which we tried to keep relatively flat this year. Wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad either. Or it's through the utility rate. So there is no magic pot of money for a lawsuit. And that's the sucky hard fact. I was going to say a naughtier word, but really trying to, because I'm frustrated too. Any other public commentary on, feel free to come up on agenda items only. Just name and address, please, for the record before you start.
Arlene Brown, 475 East Westfield Avenue, Roselle Park.
Yep.
Why are we building a $150,000 statue? Because that's a little bit of money.
Ma'am, this is not, so I will address that today. Are we voting anything that has to do with the statue today?
No.
No,
May
that's
I
not.
finish my sentence?
No, you may not, because it's not relevant to the agenda. You may come afterwards
No,
and
I was
speak.
going to apply it to
Oh,
this $1 million
Please, go ahead.
sewer bill.
Okay.
Because every little bit of chunk you take out of that sewer bill is a little bit less.
So everybody, let's see how the crowd reacts. I'll spoiler alert, we're not doing the Rick Barry statue. Got it. Heard everybody. Council doesn't want to do it. You're welcome. Got it. Got it. Make it easy. But I do want to say, right? So I do want to say, there's 2 pots of money, right? So that is a capital expense that we would have done that is avoided, right? That does not help operational expenses. Guys, this is important, right? I want, if you guys are going to be upset about stuff, I want you to understand what's going on here. There are 2 pots of money. So there are capital expenses for road work, bridges, tunnels, whatever we do. That is we put for and we bond out, and there are operational expenses that go to your direct property taxes. Those are two totally separate pots of money. So yes, are we saving $150,000 on a statue? Yes. Is it going to provide direct property tax relief this year on the utilities or on your property tax? No. Can we apply it to this project in the future? 100%. I heard you. I heard council. Thank you for your advocacy. I'm not a total gabados. I listen sometimes. The Rick Barry statue's dead. All right. Got it. Anybody else want to talk about anything on the agenda? Gabados means hard head for those of you who are not Italian American.
How you doing? George Ramirez, 500 East Clay Ave.
Yes, sir.
So in regards to the police cars that we're buying,
Yep.
so we're paying for two cars, $88,574, which comes out to $44,287 for each car.
Yep.
Why are we paying $1,000 more for a 2023, which is a year older?
So I just want to bring up Chief Farino to talk about some of the importance of some of our aging vehicles. And then as far as the purchasing, I'll default to the CPA. Is it on?
Just click the button.
Got it.
Yeah, it's on now.
I prepared myself for this because I expected it, but, so just for the record, we have 11 patrol cars that are on the line that are shared between the day shift and night shift. Some of them run 24/7. We have, two of those patrol cars are over 120,000 miles, so they're not fleet worthy, not trusted to go to your house if somebody had a heart attack or anything like that. We have to worry about getting to the point.
Oh, yeah,
If I
sorry,
may-
it's your
So
time.
my question is not why we're buying them,
Yep.
but why are we paying more for a 2023 compared to 2024?
Andrew.
So the reason for that is two reasons. One is the availability of vehicles, which is very poor in the state of New Jersey. So we have to try to buy the vehicles where we can and when we can. The difference between a 2023 and a 2024 police interceptor is very low.
What do you mean?
There's almost no difference in the options.
Can I add to
Have
that?
depreciation value, no? I
They're
worked in the
both
car
brand-
business for
they're both
20 years.
brand new.
No, well, I worked in the car business for 20 years. Doesn't matter if the car is brand new, the warranty starts from 2023, right?
It
doesn't
starts from
matter.
when you buy it.
No, so if it's a 2023, it's from when you
You're
title the car?
speaking from from a general consumer. We buy from a co-op. These are different terms.
I get it, but still, resale value on a 2023
We're not
is going to
reselling
be much
them.
less.
We don't resell these. We put them into circulation or we auction them.
Or you put them at the DVW lot to rot away.
So that's actually a really good point. So let me address that. So when a vehicle is decommissioned, when it's unfit for any further service, we do put them at the DPW, right? And I've got some inquiries about some old pictures that are circulating on Facebook. I think it's important to note that those vehicles are decommissioned mostly and primarily for safety. And then they're kept at DPW because in lieu of buying brand-new parts, especially with Crown Vics, and we have very few Crown Vics anymore, those parts become very expensive because they're not made anymore. So we utilize those, right? And then when they're completely devoid of any value, we either auction them to
scrap 'em.
or we scrap them. And most times when we scrap them, we allow the fire department to train on them, cut them up, and then we scrap them.
All right. And
Right,
what
so
about that Tahoe? That Tahoe looks pretty new. I mean, that's not drivable? What's wrong with that?
There may be, look, I don't want to get into a real big dialogue here, but there's one Tahoe up there was a hybrid.
Yeah, it looks-
A little bit of a nightmare.
The hybrid, so the hybrid engine, it's like more, it just keeps sputtering out, right? So it's one of those things where it's more expensive to fix than it's worth. It's certainly not something that could be it could be potentially like an inspector's vehicle, but it's certainly not made for a response.
You're saying it's more expensive to fix that car than
Yeah,
it's worth?
and it was also a donation, so we didn't pay for that vehicle, so that was a donation
But
from the
that could
county.
save on another expense that we have to make for another car, no?
Yeah, but I understand, but once again, so this is, I mean, they made those, I don't know why we're getting into this, but they made those hybrids for
We're
like.
getting into this
They made
because-
those hybrids for like 2 years, right? And those aren't capable of responding to a scene anyway, right?
Not only that, but the batteries to replacement for those vehicles were like $8,000 to $10,000 just
So
to
I worked in the car business for 20 years. I know how the cost of it is and all that. But I can tell you right now that car, batteries have a 10-year warranty on them. So you can tell me you can reach out to GMC or whoever and get one replaced, no? Or get it fixed.
Yeah, I mean, these are also first response vehicles where people's lives are on the line, so I'd rather buy a new vehicle than risk how old's that vehicle?
It's like a 2016.
Yeah, patched together 2016 vehicle.
Okay.
Some things you can't put a price on, Jorge.
The reason we brought it up is, well, I brought it up is because it looks like there's a lot of excess expenditure in this town.
I'd love to,
Between the Rick Barry, the banners, and
Sure.
a lot of things are coming up, and instead of,
can you give some examples? Some concrete
I
ones?
just think two.
Yeah, so the two police vehicles you think are,
No, the Rick Barry statue.
we're not
got
buying that.
banners,
We're not buying
I
that.
got banners. I
We're
got a
not
lot of
buying those.
stuff.
Give me another one.
Also, well, Neglia, you have doing.
Through the chair, Mayor.
No,
He
no.
he asked a question. Let's answer the question. That's not part of
Come
this
back at the
agenda.
end.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So move.
Anybody else want to come up and speak on any agenda items? Yeah, you can go back.
Moving on to reports.
I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Andrew, you want to start us off?
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to make a note, just a correction from the last meeting. So unfortunately, and I will take the blame for the error multiple times, and I will say multiple times because I kicked off, I think, part of the conversation about the next land use board meeting. We announced it to be June 17th. We repeated that about 20 times. It is not the 17th. The next regular meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board is Monday, the 24th. Unfortunately, Municipal Land Use Board meetings are typically the third Monday of the month. That 17th is the third Monday of that month, but the regular meeting for June is Monday, the 24th. So in case anyone does show up on the 17th, there will be no meeting. It will be the following week. Anyone who arrives at the building, because they may have seen that broadcast, there will be a sign on the front door indicating such that the meeting is the following week. In addition, we put out communications on social media indicating that the regular meeting is the next week. So I personally apologize to the governing body. It was a mistake on my part. The rest of my report is fairly light. We did have the regular primary this past Tuesday, fairly uneventful. It was a presidential primary. Other positions on the ballot. Certification will be in a couple of weeks. Just a reminder on the process. So ballots do arrive at the Board of Elections office within 48 hours of the close of polls. Those are canvassed, and then they're counted if they're found to be valid votes. And then there's also provisional ballots. So I know specifically with the Republican committee, there were some write-in votes. There will be some positions that are written in if those candidates choose to accept. None of those write-in candidates yet are elected. They will be elected when the results are certified on or about the 17th of this month. Two other things I want to note just for the record. We did have a little bit of a discontinuity with our animal control services. Something on the agenda is a layoff of our animal control officer, who many of us know very closely, Alex Balaban. Without going into a lot of details about Alex, he suffered a little bit of a medical episode. Spoke to him as early as this week. He's doing much better. He's unable to continue doing the services that he was doing before, so we have agreed this is the best way to part ways. We did bring on a provider, a very professional, well-versed provider within the state of New Jersey. They're based in Flemington, but they have multiple response areas from different parts of the state. I think ours is strategically located in Union Township, so the response is good. They've been responding to Roselle Park since Saturday when the contract began. I just want to wish Alex all the best. He's volunteered his services to the extent he can do them in the future, and I think on behalf of everybody sitting up here, we thank him for his service. I also, as the administrator, want to thank Superintendent Biamonte, who couldn't be here tonight. His contract will be ending at the end of June. His contract is ending. He's found a better opportunity for himself, and he's doing right by his family. The borough is exercising some options with the borough of Kenilworth to bring on a shared service that will fill that void. And I wish Paul the best and thank him for his friendship and professionalism for the time that we worked together. And that's all I have at this point, Mayor.
Do we have that on the agenda tonight, or that's?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. As everybody knows, the sewer bills have been mailed. They are due July 1st for the first installment, and the second installment is due October 1st. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Rupin?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. On May 2nd, more than 25 seniors visited Robert Gordon Elementary School for a spring breakfast. The event included refreshments, games, and conversation with students. Thank you, Robert Gordon Elementary School, for hosting this event. On May 2nd, more than 40 seniors enjoyed the perfect afternoon at the Casano Center. The afternoon was filled with refreshments and a performance by Barbara Harris of Toys. Thanks to Casano Center Association for sponsoring the event. On May 20th and 21st, more than 120 residents received service at the New Jersey MVC mobile unit. Thanks to New Jersey MVC for their partnership. They are scheduled to visit again on July 22nd and July 23rd. During the summer, we have planned day trips for our seniors 55 and older. To reserve your seats or for more information, please visit our social media page or the center. Due to the rainy forecast, and we had to cancel the annual Memorial Day Parade and host the service inside the Casano Center. Thanks to all who came together to honor and remember the brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. Thank you, Roselle Park Police Department, Fire Department, DPW, Church of the Assumption, United Methodist Church, Michaela, Tiffany, and Roselle Park High School Marching Band for their support.
And Rupin, just, I hate to pause you real quick, but it is, I'd rather talk about this now than after. So now that we're not spending money on the Rick Barry statue, I thought one thing that might be worth considering spending money on, which would be much cheaper, is I believe former Mayor Carl Hokinson had a good idea of adding, we have all the armed forces recognized in Veterans Memorial Library. We are missing the newly founded Space Force. So I think it's worth considering getting a quote for that and seeing if that's something that we could spend on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. This Saturday, the borough will be holding a pride flag raising ceremony and celebration at the library. The event will run from noon to 1 p.m. and features a Pride Month proclamation, a free ice cream social, and a guest speaker from the Roselle Park High School GSA Club, Gay Straight Alliance Club. On June 15, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee will hold the second annual Juneteenth Festival from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Gazebo Park. The event includes live entertainment, food, a wine garden, vendors, games, educational resources, and much more. The event is open to the public, and all are welcome to join the festivities. On Monday, July 1st, the borough will be celebrating the Independence Day celebration at Roselle Park High School Harmshaw Field. The event is free and open to the public and includes food trucks, live music from the Purple Shadows, and more. The festivities kicks off at 5 p.m. Fireworks begins at dusk with the flag raising ceremony. Specific details on the road closures will be announced by the Roselle Park Police Department at the later date. The event would not have been possible without the sponsorship of the Union County Commissioners, Brickwater, Neglia Group, Collier Engineers and Design, and Suburban Disposal. And on Saturday, July 6th, the center will be hosting a blood drive from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. At the Casano Center, we are urging residents to come and donate to help those in need. Donors will receive tickets to the New York Mets games and Mets t-shirts while supplies last. Thank you, New York Blood Center, for their partnership. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Any questions for Rupin? Excellent work. It was a bummer that we had to do things inside, but I think it was a nice ceremony despite that. So tip my hat as always, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Rich?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I know everyone likes to hear the numbers. That's the big thing, right? Okay, so we've been, as you know, we've been very busy in the code department. So for the month of May, we issued 159 permits. Total revenue through the end of May is $490,190. Sewer connection fees year-to-date, $176,258. COA development fees, $2,384. I issued 12 uniform construction code violations for the month. On the property maintenance side, we were very busy. 135 violations issued for the month of May. 16 court dispositions with fines year-to-date of $11,029. 13 court summonses were issued. I have some good news. Building A at 10 West Westfield, the Meridia project, has a TCO for floors 3 and 4. The reason,
Pause. Do they have sufficient parking on site for 3 and 4?
well, let me finish.
Got it.
Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
They have sufficient parking for floors 3 and 4. The reason why they don't have floors 2 and 5 is because they do not have sufficient.
Got it. So if they were to do, I'm just making something up, valet parking or something like that, they could potentially get,
They don't have the
spitballing.
parking spaces because they're under the redevelopment plan, as you know, RSIS is 1.1.
And where is that, the parking they're going to utilize is the one under the building, would be
Under
the
the
first wave?
building.
Okay, cool.
So they may be reaching out to some businesses in the area or some empty
Or us.
properties, or us.
Yeah.
So just be prepared, they may get that.
Yeah, we'll consider it if it comes to us.
The other thing they may try to do is Building B is not going to be ready for occupancy till the end of the year. They are going to attempt to finalize the parking garage, including all fire suppression systems throughout the building,
Before,
and then use those spaces to utilize
Okay.
while the deck's being built.
Okay.
So those are their options right now.
Okay.
So that's moving along very nicely. The Fernmore project is moving along. They ran into a little delay, but they're anticipating possibly July 15th for a TCO for, I believe that's Building A. Yeah, that's Building A. Building B is closer to us. And things are moving. The Hunter project, as you can see, is moving along quite nicely. They're framing. So on the zoning completeness reviews, we did one zoning completeness review for DRC next week. It's 243 East Westfield Avenue. That is they're proposing a retail business with one apartment.
Got it. So that would be, just for everybody, if you're in the area, that is the end of Berwyn, right?
Yes.
Berwyn? And so that's the ghost house there, the one that used to be an Optimo and laundromat, so.
And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Rich?
Mayor, I just have, there were some questions at the last meeting, Rich, and if you could stick around just for the ordinance,
Sure.
the public hearing on the ordinance 2782. Could you just talk about some of the amendments as they relate to roofing and siding?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you're aware, Mr. Administrator, these amendments really did not include any changes in the fees. These were structural changes based upon an audit we received and audit comments by the Bureau of Regulatory Affairs. The Bureau is visiting every municipality and every construction code agency throughout the state to review fee schedules and the like in operations and making sure they're properly staffed and so on and so forth. So the one particular item that you questioned me on was item number 1, which talks about roofing and siding for all use groups other than R3 and R5. So let me clarify what R3 and R5 is. Use groups R3 and R5 are single and two-family dwellings. So in the Uniform Construction Code, roofing replacements or new roofs or new siding do not require permits. They're considered ordinary maintenance. That is why that's written that way, because if the fees are only charged for use groups outside of R3 and R5, which are one and two family dwellings. Okay, some of the other changes are minor. If you go to item number 2, the one item that does require a permit is a product known as polypropylene siding, which, using a brand name, would be something like Cedar Impressions. That is a petroleum-based product, so that has a decent flame spread rating. And that's why that does require a permit. because we have to look at clearances to the electrical services coming in as it relates to that type of siding. So that does require a permit. That isn't ordinary maintenance, and that would include 1- and 2-family dwellings. And some of the other changes.
I think we're good,
We're-
Rich.
we got it.
Those were just two concerns that came up specifically at the last meeting. If you could just stick around for that. for the
Real
public
riveting
hearing.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm chippy
you,
tonight,
Rich.
Rich. Because you want to go hang out over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Who I haven't done Ranieri and Freno, right? Coach, you want to come up first? I'm saving the best for last, Chief.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to thank Mayor Signorello and Town Council for giving me the opportunity to provide a brief update. The goal of the Roselle Park Recreation Department is to meet the recreational needs of our community. As part of our department's effort to meet these needs and expand community service, our department provides a wide range of programs. Membership and recreation. We currently have over 515 recreational members. Homework and aftercare. We currently have over 136 students daily. We are transporting, chaperoning over 87 students. Once homework is complete, we organize science fun, arts and crafts, bingo, board games, kinetic sand, magnetic tiles, drawing, marble runs, Legos, individual and team games, to name a few. The ASYC has either hosted or accommodated the following meetings or events: Boy and Girl Scouts, various Roselle Park School District PTA meetings, Recreational Committee, Diversity and Inclusion, community fairs and events, recreational sports parties, CPEG, Diversity Pro Wrestling event, Sherman PTA 3rd through 5th grade dance, and DMV, to name a few. The following spring recreational programming has started: elementary and middle school tennis, spring middle school, high school adult strength and conditioning, spring volleyball, adult basketball, and off-season wrestling. I'd be remiss to not mention members. Please join us tomorrow for our annual Four Squares tournament in the ASYC at 4 p.m. with our special guest, Mr. Carroll. Our summer programming will be as follows: boys and girls basketball, co-ed tennis, boys and girls wrestling, elementary, middle school, and high school volleyball, elementary, middle school, and adult strength and conditioning. In addition, the ASYC will be accommodating some of the Casano Center summer programming because of hosting early voting. We remain committed to providing the best possible care and programming. We believe our department offers our community members a wide variety of activities and programming. As always, you can contact the Recreation Department at recreation@rosellepark.net with any questions or concerns. This completes our June Recreational Department update. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Yes. What time does the Foursquare begin?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
Yeah.
And Mr. Carroll?
Yeah, Mr. Carroll, special guest, Mr. Carroll.
Wow, he was.
He's in the building tonight.
Here?
Yeah.
Don't know if he was here for Four Squares, but he's here. I know, Coach.
Mr. Carroll's rules.
Sewer or weed? What are you here for?
Wow.
A little bit of both? Fair enough.
And Mr. Carroll is a teacher when I was in Robert Gordon. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Coach.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I previously submitted my May 2024 report, so I'll just be brief on a couple highlighted items. On May 9th, I attended a send-off ceremony for the National Police Unity Bike Tour in Jersey City. Sergeant Joshua Madrano was one of the participants in the tour, and this agency is very proud of his accomplishment. He represented our town and this agency professionally. On May 22nd, the Roselle Park Traffic Safety Unit conducted a pedestrian decoy safety education traffic detail. The operation was conducted according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety Standards. There were four officers conducting the traffic stops and one decoy. The operation took place over a 4-hour period in 2 heavily traveled areas for pedestrians in the area of Locust Street and West Webster Avenue and Chestnut Street and West Lincoln Avenue near the train station. The results were 27 motor vehicle stops, resulting in 14 summonses and 13 warnings issued. On May 28th, the Roselle Park Police Department conducted a motor vehicle inspection checkpoint with the assistance of the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission mobile inspection team on Fayette Avenue in West Webster. Checkpoint resulted in 34 motorists getting their vehicles inspected and 17 summonses issued for other violations. On May 29th, the Roselle Park Traffic Safety Unit again conducted another pedestrian decoy safety and education traffic detail. The operation conducted in according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety Standards. There were 3 officers conducting this traffic stop and 1 decoy. The operation took place over a 3-hour period in 2 heavily traveled areas for pedestrians in the area of Locust Street and West Webster Avenue. The results were 13 motor vehicle stops, resulting in 4 summonses and 9 warnings. Mayor, that's all I have.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, did I miss anything, Andrew? Okay, cool. May I have a motion to accept the reports of departments as submitted?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please read ordinance number 2781 by title.
Yes, Mayor, ordinance 2781 is an ordinance for second reading and public hearing, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2760, fixing the salary ranges of non-union employees and officials of the Borough of Roselle Park in the County of Union, State of New Jersey.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2781?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to come up and speak on this ordinance specifically? I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2781?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2781?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Ready to call the roll?
Yeah.
Call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the ordinance is adopted.
Please read ordinance number 2782 by title.
Yes, Mayor, ordinance 2782 is an ordinance for second reading and public hearing, an ordinance amending Chapter 16 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Building and Construction.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2782?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to come up and speak on this ordinance specifically? Okay, seeing no one, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2782?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2782?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the ordinance is adopted.
Okay, please read ordinance number 2783 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2783 is an ordinance amending Chapter 31 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park as mandated by the NJDEP entitled Stormwater Control.
Is there any discussion? Andrew, this one's coming from Trenton, our overlords there. Can you please just give us the 30-second pitch on what's going on here and what we need to comply with?
Yep, so there is an annual renewal of our permit with the DEP as a stormwater operator, not related to some of the issues that we're talking about, just the fact that we have a stormwater system. So there's a permit the DEP issues, it's called a Tier A MS4 permit. Every year when you do your renewal of this permit, they find or they look for things that you should be doing differently or codified differently. So in July of 2023, DEP issued a new model ordinance. And what a model ordinance is a very soft way of the DEP saying, adopt this. So we didn't adopt it in July of 2023. When we renewed the permit, they said, it is time for you to enact some of these provisions. We actually haven't amended our stormwater control ordinance in some time, so this brings it just up to what the DEP expects the standards to be. However, in addition to what's codified in our code, when there are major projects that are reviewed, they're always reviewed based off of the prevailing stormwater standards in the state. So this really just adopts what the model ordinance is the DEP wants to see on the books with the local municipalities.
Got it. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
I need a motion.
Yeah, the motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Can you actually,
What do I need to do? What did I miss?
when it'll be heard?
Oh, I forgot. May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2783 for introduction, fix the date for second reading and public hearing as June 20th, 2024?
So move.
Second.
I got it, okay.
Is there any discussion?
Councilman
Call the roll.
Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the ordinance is introduced.
2784?
Yes, Mayor, ordinance 2784 is an ordinance for introduction, ornamenting Ordinance amending the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park, establishing a new Chapter 21 as mandated by the NJDEP, entitled Privately Owned Salt Storage.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2784 for introduction, fix the date for second reading and public hearing as June 20th, 2024?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? This is functionally similar story?
Functionally similar, different entirely in what it tries to achieve. It really, for the most part, other than the provision that
Updating our codes based on what the state expects.
Yes, and if a resident were to read it, they're going to be very concerned, potentially. It's not something to be overtly concerned about unless you keep your storage, salt, loose in your yard.
Got it. Any further discussion? Riveting stuff. Call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Signorello?
Yes.
Councilman Rapina?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
Ordinance 2785, please.
Mr. Mayor, ordinance 2785 is an ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Trees, establishing a new Section 2 as mandated by the NJDEP entitled Private Tree Removal and Replacement.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2785 for introduction and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as June 20th, 2024? Is
So move.
Second.
there any discussion? I'm going to take a crack at what this one is, just because I think don't normally have an audience like this. Might as well get this out as many people as I can. Not something I love, but once again, something that's getting mandated top down. So we are required to now have an ordinance whereby if you take out a tree, so normally if you have a tree that's dying, a tree that is dying or problematic, you can call us and we will take care of it in front of your house, especially if it's in the town right away. If it is on your private property, it is your responsibility. From now on, state mandate that you need to get a permit from us to remove that. And then if you remove it, then there's a certain calculation based on the size of the tree that you need to plant new trees. Or you can pay into our tree trust fund, which we will use those funds to buy more trees. So not fun is what it is. I mean, I like trees too. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, clap for the trees. There we go, yeah. All right, thanks, Janet. Is there any discussion? No, call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Signorello?
Yes.
Councilman Rapina?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
Okay, all matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Please read all resolutions listed on the consent agenda by title.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 13524 is directing the Chief Financial Officer to apply all 2024 revenue received from the local cannabis transfer tax and user tax to offset the 2025 sewer utility budget to the extent permitted by law. Resolution 13624 is waiving permit requirements and fees established in Section 4-10 of the Municipal Code for peddlers participating in any public events hosted or co-hosted by the Borough of Roselle Park during calendar year 2024. Resolution 13724 is appointing Paul M. Kobliska as a part-time covering electrical subcode and building subcode inspector. Resolution 13824 is authorizing, directing, and otherwise ratifying and confirming the actions of the Chief Administrative Officer in instituting a layoff action, including one animal control officer. Resolution 13924 is approving the insertion of a Clean Communities Program grant as a special item of revenue in the 2024 municipal budget in the amount of $28,678.22. Resolution 14024 is approving the insertion of a Union County Means Green Community Garden Program grant as a special item of revenue in the 2024 municipal budget in the amount of $250. Resolution 14124 is authorizing the purchase of two 2024 Ford Police Interceptors from Paramus Ford, Inc. pursuant to Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Co-op Contract 23/24-11 in an amount not to exceed $88,574.80. Resolution 14224 is authorizing a shared service agreement with the Borough of Kenilworth for the position of Superintendent of Public Works. Resolution 14324 is authorizing renewal of an alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-33-106, Ocean Castle, Inc., doing business as Vintage Italian Restaurant and Catering for the 2024-2025 licensing term. Resolution 14424 is authorizing renewal of inactive alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-3325, Casio's Tavern 2, Inc., doing business as Casio's Tavern 2, for the 24-25 licensing term in conformity with the Administrative Order 2024-03, issued by the New Jersey Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control, granting blanket 1239 relief to inactive municipally issued Class C retail licenses and establishing quartiles under Public Law 2023, Chapter 290. Resolution 14524 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-4433, Gajani Inc., doing business as Roselle Park Liquors and Food for the 2024-2025 licensing term. Resolution 14624 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-44139, Chestnut Street Spirits LLC, doing business as Roselle Park Wines and Spirits for the 24-25 licensing term. Resolution 14724 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-3353, Frenchie's Bar Grill, Inc., doing business as Frenchie's Bar and Grill for the 24-25 licensing term. Resolution 14824 is authorizing renewal of inactive alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-33614, Cafe C, Roselle Park LLC for the 24-25 licensing term, in conformity with Administrative Order Number 24-03 issued by the New Jersey Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control, granting blanket 1239 relief to inactive municipally issued Class C retail licenses and establishing quartiles under Public Law 2023, Chapter 290. Resolution 14924 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-4418, Roselle Park Liquors LLC, doing business as Roselle Park Liquors for the 24-25 licensing term. Resolution 15024 is awarding a professional service contract to the Neglia Group for preliminary professional engineering and surveying services for the project improvements to Acker Park in an amount not to exceed $50,000. Resolution 15124 is awarding a professional services contract to the Neglia Group for professional engineering services, including surveying, design, and construction management for the project improvements to Boy Scout Park in an amount not to exceed $26,300. Resolution 15224 is awarding a professional services contract to the Neglia Group for professional engineering services, including surveying, design, and construction management for the project improvements to Grant Avenue, Year 50 CDBG, in an amount not to exceed $86,800. Resolution 15324 is authorizing a professional services contract to the Neglia Group for professional engineering services, including survey, design, and construction management for the project improvements to Avon Street and Berwyn Street, fiscal year 2024 NJDOT, in an amount not to exceed $111,250. Resolution 15424 is awarding a professional service contract to the Neglia Group for professional engineering services, including survey, design, and architectural services for the project improvements to Firehouse Number 3 in an amount not to exceed $225,000. Resolution 15524 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-31181, West End Community Center, doing business as West End Community Center for the 24-25 licensing term. Resolution 15624 is authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage control license number 2015-3348, Willow KC LLC, doing business as Sun Tavern for the 24-25 licensing term. Resolution 15724 is authorizing the purchase of one 2023 Ford Police Interceptor from Nielsen Ford of Morristown, Inc., pursuant to Morris County Co-op Contract Number 15-A, in an amount not to exceed $45,355.
Okay, do any members, well, I'm going to remove some first, but do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? So I'm removing 142-24, 144, and 147. Anybody else? Anything else?
Yeah.
Yep.
135,
Oh,
24.
yep, that's a good one, too. Missed that one. Okay, cool. May I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 135-24?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? So let me tee this up. This is not a vote on whether or not we like cannabis in Roselle Park. This is not a vote supporting the number of cannabis retailers in Roselle Park. The idea here is, as we've said, exploring all avenues to try and offset some of the pain that's been caused by the stormwater system. So just for all of you guys who might not know, I'll bring you up to speed. There have been 3 conditional potential licenses for Class 5 sales of marijuana, right? One was passed by the Land Use Board. It is currently being challenged in court. There's another one, if you feel passionately about, go check it out on the website. June 24th?
June 24th.
June 24th, come here. There's a reason why we made them conditional approvals. Have your voice be heard. And then the final potentially would be the existing, so just so everybody's clear, there's a lot of rumors around this. Breakwater is an existing medical marijuana place that's been existing since 2021. They would like to convert to sell adult use and medical use. The building they're building right next to it, they are moving to. It's not going to be 2 facilities right next to each other. The building they're in is temporary. They'll be knocking down. all that is good context for, I think, just the discussion here. We are legally allowed to get 2% of their revenue as an additional tax, right? People have been asking left, right, and center, well, what's this good for? What is this good for? What are we doing with this, right? So if, I'm not saying all three are going to get passed, but let's just assume one gets passed. It is ballpark, from what I've heard from somebody who's doing in the area, these institutions can do about $500,000 in revenue a month, right? So 2% of that could be what the math's like 120K. We get fined from the city of Elizabeth like 350K.
Yeah, the settlement is
350K
about a year
whatever.
for 11 years.
Yeah, for 11 years. So I'm not saying that this is me trying to get creative to try and help solve a problem, right? And if no marijuana places get passed this year, I don't know what's funny about this. Like, it's really trying to help here, but okay, totally. I mean, you're laughing. Yeah, it's I have the stage. Yeah, I have the stage. Got it. Yep. Look, if none of them get passed, then no monies get directed to that. It's as simple as that. So, anybody else want to?
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to go? Go ahead. Okay. I have a question about the medical dispensary, breakwater.
Yeah.
Right now is medical. Are we taking the tax from the medical? Are we allowed to?
We are allowed to. I think it's kind of unethical to tax something that, like, if you're going there, you could be a cancer patient, you could be whatever, right? PTSD. I personally feel like it's unethical to add an extra tax on something that people really need for medical reasons. We could always revisit that, but it's something that I'm not in favor of.
So right now we don't collect.
Right now, we do not collect 2% on the medical sales.
Is it just like any medical places that we don't collect tax on? Urgent care, we don't collect tax on urgent care. Is that?
No, I mean they pay property taxes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just want.
Yeah. Did you have something, Roselle?
No, I thank you for being transparent and saying that, just in regards to what it was and what it means and trying to help that out. And even if you don't agree with it, like I don't, that if that could help in some way, if that passes, but I just want to say thank you.
Yep, no worries. Call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Robina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor, the resolution is adopted.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 142-24? Nobody?
So move.
Second.
Okay, so I just want to explain what this is. We talk a lot about costs and how much we spend here in Roselle Park. This would be another cost-cutting measure. So we have a pretty slim Department of Public Works now. We are looking to enter, so we're putting a little bit of the cart before the horse here, but I wanted to put this on because people like transparency, and I want to make sure that you guys hear it first for whoever's watching and whoever's here. We're looking to enter a 6-month agreement with the Borough of Kenilworth to share our superintendent of Public Works, right? So he would manage the Public Works in Kenilworth, he would manage the Public Works in Roselle Park. We'd have him as a shared resource. For those of us who are worried about how much we're spending, this is, I don't know, Andrew, how many shared services agreement have we done in the last 6 years? Probably the third or fourth one? Yeah.
At least.
So we're going to look to save probably in the tune of another 50 to 60K by doing this, which I think is good for the borough. We're doing it in a 6-month time frame to see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, we'll revert the other way. But I think this is another really important step in helping slim the borough down. We are already working with a smaller piece of the pie than other entities in the borough, but nonetheless, we work with what we got. And we have done, for those of us who are concerned about waste, I don't know anybody in my lifetime in the borough of Roselle Park who's actually eliminated roles in the borough of Roselle Park. We've eliminated 5 roles through going through county shared services and saving $170K in run rate revenue. That was the first year I got here. So we are actively looking to save money, and this is one of those ways to do that. So any further discussion?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Is he going to be available, like, to us so we can,
Yeah, 100%.
the way we?
Just like whatever else.
Okay.
I mean, look, I'd say the one thing that I asked with Paul that I think is kind of a good workflow is we have a secretary for a reason, right? So I love it when Joe P, he calls Debbie, and then when Paul's in the office, it gets to them. I think that's the best way to do it, just even if we had our own dedicated one.
Sure, sure.
But look, it's Roselle Park and I got my Ashwood Ave folks here who are staring at me with stink faces, but Kenilworth is right over there, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's not far to get from one to the other. So he will be available on call. He's like, whenever you need me, I'll come Sundays on emergencies. But I do think best protocol is call Debbie.
Sounds good.
Okay? Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Robina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 144-24?
So moved.
Is there a second? Whatever, can you count that?
Joe P. got the first, got
Okay.
the motion. Is there a second?
I thought I said it.
Got it.
Whatever.
I just didn't hear it.
Second.
I just had a question. So while I've been getting eviscerated on the public forums this week, Rich, I noticed that somebody was saying that something's happening at Casio's. Do you know of any permits that are taken out there or anything like that? Okay. I mean, look, I hope they're doing something, right? Like we've been. Okay. Can you just ask Judy or something like that if we've. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. That was it. Andrew, call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Robina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The resolution is adopted.
Does the council president need to call for this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Could I have a motion to accept Resolution 147?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion? Call the roll.
Okay. Call the roll.
All right. Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
I'll be abstaining.
Abstaining. Councilman Robina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, 1 abstention. The resolution is adopted.
Okay. Councilman Patel, you wanted to start off, right? Go for it. Yep.
Good evening. I attended the ribbon cutting event for downlinks. If you haven't checked them out yet, make sure to stop by. On May 27th, I attended the Memorial Day service. Thanks to everyone who came out to the service. If anyone would like to volunteer at the community garden, we are there from 9:30 a.m. till 12 p.m. on Saturdays. The Environmental Commission is looking at options and resources to assist the residents and the borough with the sewer disputes. June 4th, I attended the meeting with the DOT and concerns were brought up to them for Route 28, such as pedestrian crossing by 240 Meridia. The Boy Scouts will host the second annual Pitwood Derby this Saturday. For more details, please contact me. Please excuse me as I will have to leave early tonight since it's my dad's birthday. If you need to get in contact with me, please email me at kpatel@rosellepark.net. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Councilman. Happy birthday to his dad's birthday today.
Yes.
Happy birthday to your
Birthday
father.
dad.
Have a good night. Okay, Councilman Rubina.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Roselle Park. On May 18th, I attended the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition Bike and Walk Summit at Middlesex County College. A lot of great information was presented and got some very doable, low cost, and some free takeaways to consider as we work together to improve safety, mobility, connectivity, and trails in Roselle Park and beyond. On May 21st, I joined Tim Coakley with the RP Environmental Commission to clean out the raised beds and plant a number of sensory-friendly perennials and annuals at the sensory-friendly playground at Loretti Park that we received county funding to create 2 years ago, and is among one of a handful of sensory-friendly municipal parks in the county. With over 20% of our children having individualized education plans or simply put, different abilities, this park is open to all. Just like church bells, ocean waves, and raindrops have a soothing effect, the equipment there helps everyone with sensory processing needs. My family and I have been visiting to water the plants, so they take root just in time for Roselle Park Special Education Parent Advisory Group's end-of-year get-together at the park on Thursday, June 13th at 6 p.m. Big thanks to Tim Coakley for donating these plants. Regarding our roadways and sidewalks, work is underway on Larch and Pine with curbing and concrete work. Milling and paving is next, and yesterday the county started milling Locust, a county road, at night with minimal and temporary impact. On May 22nd, I represented the borough for the Rahway Valley Mayor's Alliance. Regarding the Roselle Park train station, NJ Transit confirmed the construction bid will be out first quarter of 2025 for the station renovations. I requested signage to be posted at the station with the design plan and mentioned that the project is coming soon so that our commuter residents are kept informed, to which they obliged. These updates are critical as NJ Transit mentioned peak ridership during the week is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and that's still 20% less from pre-pandemic levels as most employers are still in hybrid for the unforeseeable future. Wednesday is the highest ridership day through, though the weekend ridership is 20% higher than during the week. New Jersey Transit's representative mentioned the increasing issues with Amtrak over these last 4 or 5 months, electrical issues specifically. On May 23rd, I attended the Roselle Park Police Department and Roselle Park Fire Department chili cook-off at the high school benefiting project graduation and the 8th grade graduating class. I served as one of the judges. Congrats to the Roselle Park Fire Department for taking home the trophy, and thank you to Officers Cambronero, Matthews, PBA 27, the PTA, PTOs, and all participants for this kickoff event. And as the 8th grade committee leader, Elizabeth Lonecker-Smith would say, every dollar raised is a dollar more than our students had before. Thanks to all who came out to support. I wanted to say thanks to Cranford Dairy Queen for their continued support and partnership as they sponsored 50 free small ice cream coupons for the library summer reading program and the upcoming CPAG end-of-year get-together for these past 3 years. A portion of CPAG's vouchers will be shared with the middle school and high school volunteers who have become peer models to our children at events. On May 27th, I attended the Memorial Day service at the Cassano Center. Over 1.3 million American servicemen and women have died in wars and conflicts throughout U.S. history. Much blood has been shed for our rights, freedoms, and liberties. Today is also D-Day. On this day, 80 years ago, the course of history changed with over 150,000 Allied forces, comprised of 73,000 Americans, with 2,500 service members paying the ultimate price for freedom. And American blood continues to be shed today. May we always have a place in our hearts to be grateful, to acknowledge the ultimate sacrifice they made, and most importantly, to treat one another with respect and civility, despite differences. On May 30th, I attended the first Spotlight series of the Kane University County 22 Consortium, comprised of the 21 municipalities and the County Union. It focused on government hiring and retention, the Kane network, and benefits of partnership. Job fairs, recruitment, adult degree completion programs were discussed, as were VOTEC jobs. Mechanics, engineers, plumbers, electricians, the trades are in demand. An average student at Kane, they mentioned, is 47 years old, so not too late to continue learning. Chamber member businesses and borough employees, as the borough is a chamber member, are automatically part of the Kane network and eligible to receive a 20% discount on online courses, 10% off in person, and an application fee waiver. On the 4th, as the chamber liaison, I shared flyers for the Gateway YMCA at 5 Points, chamber partners, benefiting Roselle Park residents and families with a no joiners fee for 2 weeks and summer swim lesson specials. There's more info on my Facebook page. Also on the 4th, I participated in NJDOT's enhanced study of Route 28. It was their kickoff meeting regarding numerous long-standing issues with traffic flow and mobility. They recognize safety concerns and issues that need to be addressed and are collecting data. We met for over an hour and a half and provided much input and technical knowledge on challenges and opportunities within the area, and they responded favorably. Thank you to the residents who have reached out to all of us and shared your concerns about Westfield Ave, and thank you to Andrew, Mayor Signorello, and Councilman Gregory Johnson specifically for spearheading these discussions. DOT stressed they've heard us all loud and clear on this one. And I commend B.A. Casais for sending a polite yet direct message to top brass at DOT regarding another DOT issue, major property maintenance concerns along Grove Street, Valley, and Beechwood. Mayor, that concludes my report. Fifth Ward, I can be reached at jrobine@rosellepark.net and 862-236-0019. I'm all done.
I'm sorry, Jay. Your tie looks lovely.
Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. It's great to see everyone here, and mayor and council. I was also at the Dowlings opening. It's awesome to see doors are open and businesses in Roselle Park, and seeing Just Jubilant and the ice cream shop that we have and the art studio that we have, Costa's, everything that's really there, even Rose Valley. We all need to support. And this is just a reminder, let's support the events that we have. We have them for you. Support our businesses because they need you. So we definitely want to be able to just have a reminder of that. The Memorial Day service was beautiful, and it was definitely something that was just meaningful and an honor to attend. We also had karaoke at the Casano Center. There wasn't a lot of people, but it was powerful. Playoki is a local business. They are going to be doing events here, so please come out. Even if you can't sing, they do trivia and just to spend time. And I was able to even reunite with some old neighbors that I had from growing up on Webster, and it was wonderful to see. And also karaoke at Post 60. They actually have things going on. I'm going to try to actually post that a little bit more so we can have support. It's all are welcome, and if you can donate to Post 60 and help the veterans, that would be wonderful also. I just want to encourage everybody and remind everyone, rosellepark.net is where to go. Sometimes I didn't even know that, to be honest, and that's something that everybody needs to know. You just click on that, and that's where all the meetings are, the agendas are, land use everything that's there, it's right front and center. So make sure you have that down. And also the Roselle Park app, I always talk about it. It's called My Roselle Park. It has all the events. We have a lot of things happening in June and July. We are bringing back open mic nights, and that's in the gazebo. We had an amazing just talent show up in Roselle Park. All the kids that really sing for the town, national anthems, everything, they're coming out even from that. So I encourage you to come out. Everything that we have, it's for all of us. The Roselle Park Walking Club will be starting. I keep talking about it, but the weather's just been so crazy, but I promise you I'm going to be starting that up again. But if you need me, 908-726-8773. And our Lions at rosellepark.net. And I just leave you with 3 words. When I started a year and a half ago, the 3 words that were on my heart was connection, communication, and community. Something was awakened in Roselle Park, and I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as a good thing. It's funny because when I look out into the crowd, I wish I could grab you guys and say, look at everybody. Don't be afraid to smile. We're with you. We're for you. We're not against you. Connection is important. Communication is important so we can have community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Petrosky.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to send my condolences out to Constance Vancio D'Amico and Judith Lesbiel Caulfield. On May 18, I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for Dowlings. Good luck to them. On the 20th, I attended the Historical Society meeting. On the 27th, I attended the Memorial Day Parade. I know we honored the veterans that lost their life, but also, me personally, I think of the veterans that served our country. And I want to thank my fellow councilman, Gregory Johnson, for your service. And also all veterans that are in this room and all through Roselle Park and all thing for their service to help a great nation, not like that. But on June 3rd, I attended the fire department meeting. Again, we mostly talked about repairs and everything. And I know there was a big fire at the PS substation, Joe? Yeah, so I seen the smoke. So some of the firemen were at that call. So, and again, everyone knows today is D-Day, June 6, 80 years, and I was watching the TV this morning, and seeing these veterans over 100 years old, and many of them said they lied about their age. They were 16-year-old, and they were serving their country and everything. But like I said, there's quite a few that were over 100-year-old, so I do give them a lot of credit, and I thank them for their service. If you need to get a hold of me, you can get me at jpetrosky@rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Good evening, Chief. I forgot to thank you before. Thank you for clearing out Clay Ave with the construction, with the St. Anthony's Feast coming up. Appreciate that help. And like the mayor said, I spoke to former Mayor Hokanson about, we had a little chat on Memorial Day about adding the monument for the Space Force. And I too like to thank the veterans that have served over the years. My dad did serve in between 55 and 57, and it's nice to see our second year of our veterans banners downtown on the T. I too attended the memorial service, and I'm repeating myself. And I just want to say, even though the parade was canceled, but the intent and the spirit of the ceremony, we accomplished it at the Casano Center and walked over to the Doughboy, and that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the event. The parade would have been nice, but we called it, and I'm part of the one that we called it 10 a.m. on Friday. We thought the weather was going to be bad. I too attended the Dowlings opening. It's so good to see that corner done. It is beautiful inside. They didn't have my sourdough grilled cheese sandwich that first day, but I'll be going back to. I've loved it, and I've been eating some of Russ's cooking since he was working in Molly McGuire's and Clark a long time ago. So that's the end of my report. You need to get a hold of me, 908-721-6488. And it's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents. First, I would like to start off with a couple of community announcements. I am pleased to announce on behalf of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee that we are having our second annual Juneteenth celebration here in Roselle Park on Saturday, June 15th, 2024, from the hours of 5 to 9 p.m., located at Michael J. Morey Park, also known as Gazebo Park. And I hope to see a diverse community showing, because Juneteenth, to me, is not only an African-American holiday, but it is a holiday to celebrate the evolution and growth of our nation, ultimately commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. And in my view, that is something for all human beings to be rejoiceful about. So please come out. For my second announcement, I wanted to advise residents that finally, Jay, we, the borough, have had that discussion with NJDOT professionals in regards to revitalization efforts to make Route 28 a safer corridor for both pedestrians and motorists. I repeat, for both pedestrians and motorists. Expect to be completed within a few years after. This is a lengthy process. A special thanks to Andrew, Mayor, the rest of council, and NJDOT personnel for supporting this project and my efforts to improve safe routes for all when commuting around the community. Lastly, Mayor, I wanted to take a moment to use the remaining of my time to express my position without interruptions, without rudeness, without labeling, or without condescending biases. First, I wanted to add, Rose, since I just thought about it, another word to use too with the 3 C's is civility. You know, we could have a difference of opinion, a different of views, but what I must say, my hat go off to that resident that was here today earlier. He put that so eloquently, and it was so refreshing to see opposition being articulate in a polite and respectful manner. So if you're going to come up here and ask me questions, please just do that. I will be respectful to you, and you will be respectful to me. First and foremost, I want to say, how did we come to the 3 number? It was originally 5. We lowered it to 3, just to set the record straight. I'm not staunched on it has to be 3. I'm okay with, once we go through the process, that if we could downsize it, because the community is saying downsize it, I'm open to those discussions. So again, you guys wouldn't know that, because every time people come up here to ask me a question, they don't allow me to speak. I'm rudely interrupted, abruptly interrupted, cackles, hackles from BOE members. That's just not right, and is unprofessional in my view. I did have the opportunity to speak to a wonderful young lady who advised me that she was against it, but she talked so politely, I was able to hear her. When 2 people are yelling at each other or being disrespectful to one another, you can't hear. I can't hear, the mayor can't hear, you guys can't hear. And I feel bad, because there are truly residents in this community that want to express themselves the right way and politely ask to lower it or debunk what's going on. So that's just where I sit at it at this time. Let's see. In regards to the ROB zone, the cannabis MD was in the right zone. I know there was a slew of questions, but it is in the right zone. But one of the residents is correct too. Behind it is a residential area. So I understand what was going on with that situation. But it is, medical MD is in the proper ROB zone. Those laws predate me, they predate mayor, they predate this council. I don't think anyone did that to rally residents at all. And potato, maybe it needs to be moved. And like the mayor said earlier, if it happens to, get canned through the process, then we'll revisit it. That's what government is about. So, as far as residents deciding to quote propaganda, attack mailers with no attached actual factual reality, I'm just shocked and a little bit appalled, and that in 2024 that our population don't know we have to check and cite our sources. That propaganda that was sent out, I never voted for apartment. It's operable. That was an attack on my character, which is inappropriate. There was other things being said, and inappropriate. All of my stuff is public information. Anyone could review it as they see fit. In fact, I learned this back in high school, so I'm certain everybody else probably have as well, that you have to cite your sources. Those people that put out that information were just straight cowards, because they couldn't even put their name on it, or where did it came from. And I was a little bit shocked that a resident was trying to justify it to me by saying, hey, the reason why that's happening to you is because you're a Democrat. And I was like, that's not right. That's a form of labeling. I don't always agree with the mayor. I don't always agree with my counterparts, but we articulate and have discussions respectful behind closed doors.
Sometimes up here too.
Sometimes. Oh, no. Sometimes we do it up here too, right, Mayor?
Yeah.
I have done that
100%.
several times. So again, that would be like saying all Caucasians are racist, all African Americans are lazy, all Hispanics are immigrants. Stop labeling. At this point in our life, in our world, we need to stop that in society. That just goes to show we still have a lot of growth to continue.
You can keep going, Greg.
Thank you. All in all, that was just another form of stereotyping. and we must move away from that civilly. Nevertheless, hold on. Excuse me. At the end of the day, Mayor, like I said on Facebook, I'm going to end my meeting. I'm going to digress. But I just want Roselle Park to understand we have to go through this process so we can avoid liability concerns such as the sewer, such as Romanowski, which cause financial burden to the residents. I understand people are in disagreement, but we have to follow the process. Once that process manifests out, then we can go back to the drawing board. So again, I just hope whoever comes up here and speak to me, if you're gonna ask me a question, one, allow me to speak, and two, this is my position. I'm not staunched on three. We don't have to have three. It could be two, it could be one. And I know somebody else out there probably saying it could be none. But I never said that I'm staunched on three. So that concludes my report. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity. Community, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to continue to work hard through my actions like I've been doing the past 4 years, because I am one of the most active, and not taken away from my colleagues who self-initiate a lot of transparency. Look at the ordinance that you see in front of you. It has everybody's names. Greg Johnson created that. So I am very transparent. Don't say the borough, it came from the borough. I told the borough to do it, and we voted on it.
That was your idea.
Okay, and the DRC. There's a lot. I could go on and go on. I'll name 20 things right now. I could. So I'm not naming it so I could get a trophy or a light. I don't care about that. I'm not here to win. I'm here to talk and communicate and use the 3 C's that Rosanna said, plus civility. Please be civil. Thank you. This is not Washington, D.C. You don't have to raid us. We're neighbors. You can always pull me aside. I had someone jump in front of me. All you had to do is say, excuse me, can I talk to you? Jump right in front of me while I'm walking. That's not rude. What are we doing, community? I know it's political season, but let's get it together.
Very well said, Councilman. But yeah, round of applause. Yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah, he deserves that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to keep mine short. I mean, I just, there's so much other things going on today. It feels really important to state that whatever's going on here, I think the most important thing about today is D-Day, and recognizing that so many years ago, people fought for an ideal, people fought against fascism, people fought against the rise of Nazism and disgusting hard things that were happening in Europe. And I am so damn proud every day to be an American, and I fly my flag, and we might not always agree, but I truly shudder to think, and I'm 36 years old, and social media, I've got thick skin. I've been doing this for 6 years, but social media has become such a cesspool that people have no more civil discourse. Like, everybody up here works their ass off, 100%. Everybody up here lives here. Everybody else salutes the flag. Everybody else here pays taxes, right? And I think it's really important. I'm not talking about sewer bills right now. I'm not talking about weed right now. I'm talking about being American and respecting our systems, whether it's at the top of the house, whether it's right here in Roselle Park. Like, there's a certain level of just common sense and respect for the systems that we have, that so many died for, fighting for that right, that I think needs to be observed today and going forward. So, Mayor Sig at rosellepark.net if you want to yell at me about sewer bills or anything else. With that, may I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject matter?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anybody wishing to come up and speak on any subject matter may do so now.
How you doing? George Ramirez, 500 East Clay. Yep. So I think we do need more communication. We need more civility. The reason people are mad is that for the last few weeks, there have been 80-year-old people coming here expressing their disgust for these cannabis dispensaries, and nobody does anything. Last month, there was an 85-year-old man, he stood here, and you guys told him, well, it was already approved. You have to go to the land use board to let them know that you don't like it. Well, the gentleman showed up a couple weeks later. And because he didn't ask the question the right way, the land use board said, that's got nothing to do with us. The council already approved it. That's got nothing to do with us. Just because he didn't say, you guys need to vote on the variance, they shushed them away. So it's like, everybody plays the blame game. You're blaming the land use board is blaming you guys. And people are just pissed off about it. They're tired of it.
Are you done?
Yeah, and that's, you keep talking about we're fully transparent.
Yeah.
You're doing the bare minimum as far as being transparent. You're putting it on the website. But when it comes to like a garage sale, Roselle Park is paying Facebook to sponsor an ad for the garage sale. Why not pay for an ad that's going to influence people, that are going to impact people in their pockets?
George, I'm just
right
going to
now, their property taxes are going to go up next year. Nobody's ever, have you guys said anything about this?
How do you know that property taxes are going to go up next year?
Well, you guys raised the budget. Right?
That was for this year's budget. That's for the taxes levied this year.
All right,
The
but
budget's not set next year.
You're telling me property taxes aren't going up next year?
No, we don't know. We have to project this, like.
And we're.
So can I want to respond to three things. I'm going to be very.
One last thing. So we have a lot of expenditures going on. We have the sewer tax, we have property taxes, we have all these things. And instead of cutting back on expenses, we're spending more. Oh, well, it's only 150, it's not going to impact. But if you add everything up, 150 here, 40,000 for banners, 50,000 for here, 130 for a patch of grass that has got nothing to do with it, it adds up at the end of the year.
We literally just cut $50K from the budget tonight.
But you just spent $500,000 to the Neglia Group. How much of that to the Neglia Group?
Do we need a new fire truck? Should we not buy a new fire truck?
How much was bid out to see who can give us the best service? I mean, when you ran for mayor, the first thing you did was you raised the donation amount, right?
Incorrect.
All right. One of the first things you did was you raised the amount that people could donate to your campaign,
We
correct?
removed restrictions, so we would have more options.
Which raised the amount.
The state also raised them wholesale, so.
All right. Before, the maximum amount that somebody could donate to the mayor
Where are
was
you going
$200.
with this, George? Got it.
Well, $200. Did you raise that amount?
We removed the cap, yes.
Okay, so you raised it.
Yes.
So you just said incorrect. How am I incorrect?
Because there was no raise. The legal limits to contribute are the legal limits to contribute.
By removing the cap.
We removed the
you're
cap
able
to bid on work in Roselle Park, yes.
Okay. So how many of those, by removing the cap, how many more businesses have we gained that weren't around before?
Like Roselle Park businesses?
Yeah, no, like
people who work for Roselle Park?
Sewer, for trash collection, for, all of these things that go on, for the infrastructure.
I'd love to talk about trash collection. I could talk about trash collection all day. We bid out every 3 years. The only bidders we ever get are Suburban. I'd love for somebody else to bid. It varies professional by professional. We probably get about 8 bids for engineer. I mean, look, there's a couple things I want to respond to. Unfortunately, you can't speak. I'm sorry I took up some of your time. But look, there's first off, about people coming here. I totally understand. I represent 8,000 voters and 14,000 people in the borough of Roselle Park. I understand and respect any individual who wants to come here and talk about their problems or talk about their issues. That does not mean they're representative of the majority of Roselle Park, period, right? Second thing is, when it comes to transparency, I wake up at night because, you guys think that, I'm some callous mayor that just, I cackle while I'm smoking cigars in my office thinking about what evil thing to do in Roselle Park. These things bother me. Could I have been more transparent? Should I have been more transparent? And it occurred to me the other day, we made medical marijuana a conditional use. And I want to explain to you what a conditional use is. That means that they can't just go to Rich Beluccio or zoning officer and get a permit. They have to go through other steps within the public, right? So it's fine. And look, on property taxes, I cannot stress enough, I am going to spike the ball and I'm going to take a victory lap here. I'm 36 years old. For 20 years before I became mayor, every house, the average property value was $200 a year. And that's $200 in like 1996, 2000 money, right? It hasn't been perfect under my administration, but we've cut that in half. I mean, heck, we had the first reduction in taxes 3 years ago. That's happened in the last 3 decades, right?
Is that when the county
So,
cut
so,
down?
so once again, you're not allowed to talk,
All right.
but we did have the first reduction.
From the county jail, though.
No, it was not.
County jail shut down. And that
3 years ago? You have no idea what you're talking about, George. Yeah. So long story short,
Everything.
for people who want to challenge my record on taxes, I have been the most fiscally conservative mayor in Union County, period. Period. Would anybody else want to come up and speak?
So, do I need to introduce myself again?
Yes, you do.
Okay, my name is Chris Lee, 450 Henry Street. Thank you. I just first like to apologize for my laughter earlier. It was not directed at any member of this body, nor was it directed at the body itself. I'd just like to finish and say that I'm dissatisfied with the discussion, both in the content and the character of the discussion of it, and I'll yield the rest of my time. Good
Noted. Thank you. Anybody else?
thought you was great.
Yep.
Marie Miguel is 607 Sheridan Avenue. Just have two thoughts. Well, two comments. Okay. You guys all want respect, and that's great. We all deserve respect. Respect is earned. When people are talking, I know you don't like him for whatever reason.
I don't, wait, no, hold on. I don't, okay.
Let me finish.
Sure.
Whatever.
Got it.
But don't laugh at what he says. He takes time to write things down. The other gentleman, he has his opinions, you have your opinions. Don't ignore them. Don't slouch on your chair. But one question I do have is on this.
Sure.
The salaries, how are these defined? The minimums and the maximums? You say that you saved $50,000 because we're going to join with Kenilworth.
Yes.
50,000 K is nothing compared to all the expenditures that are here. And this gentleman, when he was talking about what he did,
Yes, ma'am.
you mentioned that one of the girls at the school said, it's $1 more than we had before. And that's what this guy's saying. You said also that we were going to get 2% tax rebates from the marijuana places. But then you said, ooh, it's really heartless to charge people who have terminal diseases 2%. So technically, we're not getting anything from the dispensary.
As it stands, if we pass new recreational ones, then we would get 2% from those.
Right. So in order for us to get the 2%, we have to get a dispensary for recreational.
Yeah, should they get approved?
Should they get approved?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to be heartless. I'm sorry, charge 2% for the medicinal ones. I'm sorry. This is how the commercials come out on TV in the mornings that say, oh, please don't smoke because now I have lung cancer. Well, sorry, you shouldn't have smoked. Not my problem.
Wow. What? Are you?
Sorry,
Yeah, I
Rosanna,
know,
sorry,
it's very
Rosanna, sorry,
sad.
Rosanna.
I know,
I
it's-
can't, Rosanna, you can't.
Holy cow.
The
No,
difference.
what I'm saying is this.
Guys, just let her finish, please.
What I'm saying is this. We all have a choice on what we do, right? We all know that smoking is dangerous. It causes cancer.
Uh-huh.
Why would you continue to do it?
Right.
And then, when you get sick, then we all have to foot the bill.
I
That's
mean,
what
my
I'm
my
saying.
grandfather took medical marijuana because
Wow.
he had
My
health issues.
grandfather died from cancer
And he
from
took them as
smoking.
lozenges. I'm
So
just saying,
I
for the
have that
record.
in my family. And we told him, you're an idiot for smoking. You know it's bad for you, quit.
So with regards to your, why the borough chose not to tax medicinal marijuana, if I went to CVS and got my cancer medicine there, the state would not allow the municipality to put an additional tax on it, right? So it's a different form of cancer medication from a different medical provider. So the borough looks at it from that perspective. The recreational tax is same as a cigarette tax or something to that effect. that's a different choice. But when it came to medicine, it's on par as if I went to Walgreens or CVS and received my cancer medication there. So you don't get an additional 2% tax because you're sick, right? Even though that may be what you believe, but that's not what the borough chose to do.
No, you
Just
explained it.
explain-
You explained it better than he did.
Well, thank you for that, all right?
So, going back, do we know the limits on these salaries? Like,
Andrew, can you please comment? Go for it.
See, can I just say one thing? That is lack of respect to me. You turning around and going, here, Andrew, let's take care of it. That
According to you, your respect is earned, ma'am. Or should we respect you because we need to, you need to earn it?
No, hold on.
Wait a second.
You said that, didn't you?
Can I just?
So I deferred to Andrew because Andrew is the borough administrator who sets the salaries.
Yes.
Andrew, please respond to the question.
That was not how you did it, and they can attest how you did it. You just went like.
Ma'am, if you interpret it differently, I'm sorry. It's because he's the borough administrator. Andrew, please answer.
So the salary ranges are not the salaries per se. The salary ranges are broad by design for a variety of reasons, one of which is the borough exercises different options with different employees. Some employees are part-time, and sometimes they're quickly changed to full-time, or vice versa. The maximum range of those salaries is the maximum. I can tell you that no employee of the Borough of Roselle Park is at the maximum of their salary range. Unfortunately, I can't respond to any more of your questions. And the mayor will tell you that, but I will tell you that also.
Andrew's available after the meeting.
But I'm happy to explain this. The ranges are not as scientific and thought as you may think. They could be $0 to $1 million. It will not make any meaningful difference to what those individuals are paid. They're paid commensurately with what their duties are.
Okay. Useless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's two things I want to comment on. First off, broadly, I understand that we have a lot to pay for now, and I understand you guys can. We've already talked about the Rick Barry statue, superfluous things that shouldn't be spent on. I'm still going to spend money on public safety. I just am. And anybody here who has an issue with me spending, before I became mayor, the deputy chiefs, the volunteers of this fire department in Roselle Park were riding around in hoopties, barely getting to, struggling, march to school to fix them every week. When I became mayor, everybody got new vehicles. We just got $75,000 in new turnout kits. By the way, great grant. Thank you, Jay, for the leadership there. And we have an aging fire truck that we needed to replace. This is something that our volunteers requested. So yes, I am spending my money on Neglia to design the extension to the fire department because our fire department needs more space to put stuff and a fire truck. And I will not be intimidated on spending money when it comes to public safety, period. And when it comes to respect, I speak passionately. I'm a 5'4" on a good day Italian man who's from New Jersey. I have a lot of piss and vinegar, for lack of a better term. It is not anger, it is not disrespect, and as a matter of fact, verbally, Chris, I said I appreciated your words, and I thought it was very eloquent. It's very, it's nice to have that laid out perfectly. So, anybody else want to come up and speak? Public portion, agenda items, or non-agenda items, whatever you want.
Hello. Arlene Brown, 475 East Westfield Avenue, Roselle Park. I just have a little question,
Yes,
and I understand you're very much for public safety.
yes,
If this dispensary goes through for recreational purposes,
yes.
what will be the laws about people driving, leaving that dispensary, putting the candy in their mouth, picking up a cigarette or whatever, a marijuana reefer, and smoking it? What are the laws going to be? Are they going to be for public safety?
Chief, you want to come up and answer? You're not allowed to drink and drive, you're not allowed to smoke and drive.
Okay, so if we saw somebody smoking, we can call the cops if they're driving
If they're
away?
smoking and driving,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of short Italian men friends.
You know,
I grew
we're
up
all
with a
right on
bunch of them.
occasion, you know?
All my next-door neighbors.
Take the compliment where I can get it. We got a couple here in the audience.
I'm going to translate for her.
Yep.
My name is Patricia Almeida, 453 Colonial Road.
Yep.
Okay. Ustedes exigen respeto.
You guys request respect.
but when we came for first time here, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay, good.
Cuando vinimos por primera vez
When we came
aquí,
here the first time,
yo vine porque van a colocar un dispensario al frente de mi casa.
I came because you guys are going to put a dispensary in front of my house.
Pago $18,000 de tax.
I pay $18,000 in property tax.
Nuestra parte es residencial. Usted en la cara nos dijeron que no era residencial, se rieron, recibieron la aplicación,
Yep.
se dieron las manos entre todos ustedes y se nos rieron en la cara.
My
Entonces,
house is in a residential area. You guys told me that it wasn't in a residential area, that the business is not in a residential area when it's right in front of my house. You guys said it was approved and shook each other's hand and laughed in our faces.
the first time I came
first
here,
time.
that's why I'm mad.
Can I?
Because ¿cómo es? Ustedes necesitan respeto.
You guys need
nosotros
respect.
necesitamos
We want
respeto.
respect.
Nosotros necesitamos respeto.
We need respect.
Ahora, I have
Now-
a question.
Yep.
En las escuelas
In the schools,
promovemos
we promote
el no usar marihuana a los niños.
not to
Quieren
use
poner
drugs,
uno ahí
not to
al
use
frente de
marijuana.
todos.
And now you want to put one in front of the schools.
Yo no entiendo. Entonces,
I
¿para
don't
qué
understand.
ponen los programas esos de prevención?
Why are
¿Para
you putting
qué?
up those
¿Para qué?
prevention programs
Si lo van a poner ahí y recreativo.
and you're going to put this drugs right in front of the kids, recreational?
Can I respond? Okay. So I really hate to do this, but I really want to set the record straight on how that night went. And you can say that we laughed, right?
Yes.
I laughed at you after, as you were leaving, you called me a bendejo, right?
Everything is in YouTube.
That's
Everything is in YouTube.
right. So we want to talk about respect. That's disrespect, right? From the beginning of that, we were there to evaluate whether or not that area, ROB zone, was okay. I understand it's a residential area. These people worked hard to make a decision whether or not it was okay. And I sat here, I got made fun of for my hair. I got made fun of for what I was wearing. Like, you know, you can disagree whether or not I was dressed appropriately for a land use board member, but I sat there and I evaluated and I took insult after insult. And yes, I laughed because when somebody uses the B word like that on me, I'd rather laugh than really get insulted, and that's disrespect,
No,
ma'am.
Because you start. Dina, you start.
Okay.
And then you are the mayor.
Yep.
You are supposed to be respect everybody.
Yep.
You are supposed to listen everybody. And you are when all need votes, is go home by home, and they ofrecen lo mejor.
You guys offer the
Y hacen
best,
todo lo contrario.
and then you do
Todos,
the opposite.
Todos.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Todos. And te pido que tengas consideración.
I ask that you have
Porque
consideration.
Colonial Road en Bender is not commercial. We live in families there. Okay?
I'm going to.
It's not fair.
Yes, so I just want to say, I'm going to respond to that directly. For everybody who's watching once again, and for everybody who hasn't heard what's going on here, the board passed the okay for a Class 5 medical or Class 5 marijuana dispensary there. It is now in litigation, right? It is up to a judge whether or not that stands. If it does not stand, and if it does not go through this year, then we will remove the license for it, and there will be no allowed marijuana there, period. But there is, you can't ask any questions, but I will follow up on this, and I'm happy to talk about it afterwards, because I think this is important, because I have no horse in this race. I really legitimately, if there's 0 marijuana dispensaries after this year, what? No, let me finish, ma'am. Let me finish. I really have no horse in this race. But right now, whether everybody likes it or not, and maybe you could say it was a mistake, maybe people on the board feel like it was a mistake, we issued 3 conditional uses, and we cannot retract them this year. Once the year's up, if we choose and there's leftovers, we can retract them. We cannot retract them this year. It's that simple, and I'm happy to talk more. Yeah, Rosanna, please.
I don't want to listen her.
Okay.
Listen, si tú quieres poner dispensario.
Actually, I am going to talk and you're not. So,
You wanna put
but you
dispensary-
can't talk.
That's it. Your time's up. That's it. That's it.
You
This is
can't
gonna
talk.
devolve.
You
Your time's
can't
up, ma'am.
talk.
Thank you. Your time's up.
The
Time's
whole
up.
thing
Thank you.
is-
Thank you.
Everything
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't want to listen.
Thank you.
Actually, you don't want to listen. So I just want to say to the beautiful woman that was talking, I agree with her. I agree with the residents over there. And I'm not saying it disrespectfully to you, Mayor. I just wanted to say, we did hear you. I was there. And what he just said, the crowd was going against the mayor, against what he was wearing. That means there's no substance. That means you have nothing else to say. But when you do speak in saying that you care for your house and your children, 100%. But you have to hear what he's saying. The mayor's telling you over and over again, if it doesn't go through from your efforts, it's not going to happen. You should be happy about that. I said it before. You guys came and woke up because you heard something bad was happening in Roselle Park and you're standing up for it. I applaud you for that. I always say it's a community thing, but it's not about me applauding you. It's a good thing. Jerry, it's a good thing that you're doing, okay? The only thing we're saying is when we do talk, we want to respect you. We deserve that same thing. You don't, telling me I don't want to hear you and walking away, but I have to tell you this from the get-go. Where were you last year? Last year, when everyone voted on this, no,
Let's call
ma'am.
Councilwoman respectfully. Can we just move on to the next one? Yep.
But George, can you please?
No, I can't have you engage the public, Rosanna. I'm sorry. I can't have you engage the public.
I'm just saying they need to
I know, I appreciate it.
translate that no one was here last year when they voted.
I know. Thank you, Rosanna. Sorry. Yes, sir. Your Rick Barry statue's dead. You got to win tonight. Go ahead, name and address.
Quite frankly, after all that, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But in any event.
All right.
Milton Woodruff, 134 Bender Avenue.
Yep.
I think one of the things, to digress just a bit with the marijuana thing.
Yep.
It seems to me one of the things we all are not giving proper consideration to is facts that, number one, there is a national drug problem and a drug crisis, and also New Jersey has one also. So it would seem to me that, quite frankly, I don't really think we need to encourage more drug use by having facilities right here in Roselle Park in 1 square mile building with 3 of them. But anyway.
Yep.
In reference to the breakwater thing.
Yes.
Do they have to come back before the board?
They do have to come back before the board.
For the other, for the
rec piece, yep.
Recreational part?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. There were 2 apartment units at the head of Justice Street and Westfield Avenue. How many units are there?
The Meridia you're talking about? It's 325.
How many parking spots do they have?
Like 800, it's a crazy amount. They need to have 1.5 per 325, so what's the math there?
We can
give you the actual number.
Is that for both facilities?
Yes.
So it's for both facilities, and then also they have 50 dedicated to the borough that we get to use.
Well, are all those spots designated for the apartments?
No. So again, 50 of them are for borough use. The first floor will be our use.
How are we going to monitor those?
Sorry?
How are we going to monitor that?
We're going to put meters in them. Yeah. I mean, they do the same thing in Cranford. So, they have a parking deck over by the hotel. They have meters on the first floor.
I've been there once or twice.
Yep.
All right. One of the things that I was curious about, the Octagon Edge Towers had to pay up $1 million to resolve the tower issue. How is that money going to be reflected in our budget?
So it's a good question. So it goes into our general capital now, right? So basically, to your point, and you've said this very well, Milt, right? So if we want to if we have a road to do next year, right, we could use that for a road, right? So it'll be part of.
Yeah, it's not capital though.
It's not capital. Oh, it's just in the general. Okay. Whoops. All right. Kick me next time. Go ahead, Ken. You're the CFO. You can speak with more authority on this one.
No, that would go into the current fund budget. And if you want to appropriate it to use to pay for a capital item directly, you can do that.
Right. So TBD.
All right. One of the things that also recently passed was the a number of street improvement projects.
Yep.
I understand they need to be repaired.
Yep.
But quite frankly, why are we not questioning the utilities that help make the mess of the streets by excavating?
Oh, you teed me up for a home run here, Milt. So,
I'm setting you up.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So we did. So actually, when I got elected, they were responsible for just road opening permits, and then we made them pay for half of the road to get finished. And then recently, we paid them. They pay for curb to curb now. So a lot of some of the roads we're doing, we pay for where there's no utility work, and we're at like 80% of the borough we've done at this point. But the ones that have utility work, it's no cost to the borough. They do end-to-end curbing, the asphalt.
I'm not just talking about the curbing.
Oh, sorry, not the curbing, the blacktop, thank you.
The middle of the streets are a mess.
Yes, that's paid for by them after the project's done.
Yeah, that's the project. What about utilities being part of that?
They do it. They pay the whole thing.
How is that reflected in the budget?
It's not reflected in the budget. They basically just do it for us. So we require it as ending the project, they have to do it for us. Is that correct?
Yep. So the way it works is, and this was just Mr. Woodruff, you saw it more recently up on Lehigh Avenue and in that area of town where that was kind of the headache everyone dealt with was the final aspect of the milling and paving. But there was a project, so what happens is the utility comes in and they apply for what's called a street or a road opening permit. That's reviewed by my office, the borough engineer's office, and it's looked at how old is the road, what's the condition of the road, when was the road last paved, is it under moratorium, is it not? I would say 99% of the roads in Roselle Park, whether they're technically under moratorium or they're not under moratorium, whether they were paved 10 years ago or 1 year ago, if they're touching the road, they have to pay for the full boat of the permit, which is typically upwards of 5 figures, and then they have to, as a condition of the permit closeout, repave the road curb to curb. That's a new requirement that we've put in place over the last 2 years. Some of the roads we're doing for like Avon Street and Berwyn Street, where we've had to get NJDOT grant funding for and things like that to offset the cost. Those roads where you see the trenches or the patches are under old permits that are from many years ago.
They need a lot of help.
They do need, and it's on the way.
We're working on it. Thank you, sir.
I got one other question.
Can't do it. My
That's in
apologies.
reference to the non-union.
Time's up. Time's up. Can I let him? Time's up. Sorry, bud. I'll talk to you afterwards. I'll stick around. Go ahead. Yep. Yeah, just got to be respectful of other people's time. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Karen Brunzosbach, 614 Sheridan Avenue.
Yep.
This is sort of more of a comment, and I don't know if this applied to everyone, but I feel like there was probably a better fiscal use of municipal staff. When I received my letter with my sewer bill, the envelope was handwritten. You indicated that there are 14,000 residents. I can't imagine that everyone received that, and I don't know. I didn't take a poll here at the meeting, but it's really just more of a comment that I know how busy administrations are and everyone that works in them, so I don't know if I was just an anomaly.
Yeah, I think I got mine printed. I don't know if there was some that there was an issue with.
No, there was, it was a new type of bill this year, so not all envelopes, certain envelopes that were separate address with the use address had to be handwritten out. So it was not all of them, that's all.
But it was I would assume it's
And it's a
corner
minor
cases.
point.
Yeah.
It was just something I felt like if really someone was sitting in any of the offices handwriting all of that.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate an easy one. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else wishing to come up and speak?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Hey, Eric.
Eric Kennedy, 327 West Lincoln Ave. This is a little bit off topic from everybody else. I do have some concerns with the shared services agreement that was just passed tonight.
Sure.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea.
Hey, Eric, can you just speak a little bit more into the mic?
Yes, I don't necessarily think it's a terrible idea. If it's going to save the borough 50,000, I can see hopefully it works out.
Yep.
Anyway, I am looking in here and it says the Kenilworth can use all of our equipment, apparatus, and vehicles Is that something that we can also utilize their equipment?
Yeah, so I think the goal is, and I'll defer to Andrew about how kind of the nature of this, right? So they have sort of the management, we have the equipment, right? So we each bring a little bit to the table. And, candidly, I was actually expecting to spend more on the shared service, right, versus the 50K. So I think we're getting a pretty good deal. But Andrew, I'll defer to you on the logistics.
Eric, I think the short answer to that is yes. I don't think it's going to be an everyday type of thing, just like I don't think they're going to be using our equipment every day.
No, I don't either. I think they have much better equipment.
I think it's good, right. So I think that, part of it is if they have something we need, like in a lot of times, Cranford, we've gone to Cranford, we've used Cranford stuff. So it's going to be an arrangement much like that will continue.
Okay.
Part of the consideration of this agreement happened to be the use of equipment because they know we have better equipment than they do.
Okay.
Yep. Was there another question?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you, Eric.
I just didn't see anything in there. I wanted to clear that up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? Oh, are you finishing up his question?
Uh-huh.
That's cute. That's cute.
Work together, that's what you said.
That's very sweet of you.
But
That's
I don't
nice.
understand the question well, so.
Okay.
He'll understand whatever you answer.
That's very cute.
You
Okay.
wanted to know how many.
You got to just, sorry for the record, name and address.
Benny
Yep.
Woodruff, 134 Bender.
Yep.
What are the number of employees covered by the non-union contract? Does anybody know?
Ooh, off the top of the dome. So we got.
I couldn't guess.
Yeah.
I couldn't guess. So it would be non-police, non-clerical, non-DPW.
Are they mostly part-timers?
No.
It's management, right? Would
Yeah,
be most of it. So like you're non-union.
Yeah, we could get that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easier for me to say I get the number than to guess a number.
Okay. And I just have a comment. I'm sitting here listening to all of this, and I find that respect gets respect, and I'm going to leave it at that. You've always been very pleasant when I talk, so I'm grateful for that. I had a thought, and I directed it, Greg, because you're my councilman, and I've been lazy. I don't come to the meetings. I kind of rely on the council members know what they're doing, and I will, if something comes up, I will hear about it. I got blindsided with the cannabis thing, I really did. And I would like to suggest that if there are issues like that, and again, it would be at your discretion because I will try to come, but life gets funny. If we could, I don't even know where you live, Greg, quite honestly. It's not my business to check on where everybody lives. But if there was some way that we could pull people together within our district,
Ward.
We're wards,
Ward
thank
1,
you.
yep,
I think
mhm.
we're Ward 1. I never understood that. But just that when something like that comes up, I just needed time to digest it. I'm still against it.
Yep.
I have children, I have grandchildren, and all those things that we've talked about, Roseanne. But if I have an opportunity at least to hear what's going on, so that we're not getting into this mess where I don't want to file litigation, but I don't know how else, because that's the rules and that's the set of law.
Yep.
And we follow the law.
Yep.
So if this is the way we have to do it, okay. But I'd rather talk and not have you people struggling to come up with an answer when you struck a nerve, So that's just my thought. I don't know where most of you live, but I've lived here all my life and I knew most of the people, but it's getting a little harder these days. I don't have anybody in the schools. I don't have anybody in any of the events, and most of my friends have moved away,
Yep.
which is a sad thing to say anyway. But that's just my point of view, and I make that suggestion as a way to avoid you guys listening to people who are angry because they got blindsided too.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
thank you.
No, it's well said. Yeah, it's well said. I mean, I'll let you can sit down or you can stay. I mean, I just want to say thank you for that. It's very well said. I'll let Greg speak, but I think we have done this in the past where up to people's wards, like they've done like coffee, sit down with the council person or something like that. Look, I will say, I think it's tough to define for us where the line is, like, yeah, you know, and look, in hindsight, if I knew I could avoid headaches, I'm human, right? If I knew I could have avoided headaches this year by shouting from the treetops, we're gonna potentially pass weed last year, I would get in a time machine and I would do it, right? I was floored beyond belief because we've posted, we've done less stuff where we've gotten 80 people here versus 40 here. Street sweeping, yeah. 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 But no, I want to thank you again for being respectful, but look, if I would just get in time machine and go back and, you know, announce it from the treetops, maybe I would have, you know? I don't know if your time's up.
I stopped.
Oh, okay. Real quick, just go. Let's go. Yeah.
Because I can't hear.
Yeah.
I have to make sure I can do it. I wanted to say that at one of the first meetings I started coming to, we looked at the budget, and I didn't know there was a recreation department. So Milton and I, actually, we looked at the budget, and we couldn't figure out why you were hiring all these people. So we went to John Ranieri and met him at the center. And he gave us one of the nicest tours. I think that you folks should open that building every once in a while. I'm a grandma, but my kids don't live here.
It's a beautiful building.
I had no idea how big it was and how much stuff was going on there.
Yeah.
I was just floored. And I give John kudos. I mean, he probably shoot me if I said he should open it up again. But if anybody hasn't seen it, and if I'm on TV,
Yeah.
you ought to go ask some questions or see that building and what's going on in there. It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's really amazing.
Yep, cool.
Mayor, I can answer.
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
Ms. Woodrow, I try my best to create a lot of transparency, and over the past 4 years I've been in office, I've done numerous like community venues where we say sit with the police, things like that in that nature. I will say, last year my family took a devastating hit, and maybe where I was usually most active, I'm human. My sister died and left behind 4 kids. And I'm not making no excuse, and I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. It took me a little bit of time, and mental health is real, you know? And so if anybody look at my work, my record, I'm always creating transparency. DRC, you gotta send this to the ward council people. Put this on this ordinance. I feel like I try to be Mr. Transparent. So when you say that I'm not living up to my due diligence, and I'm not in a bad way, it hurts, and I want to continue to strive to be that same elected official when I first took office. And now I'm feeling a lot better now. Because my sister's kids are getting taken care of, and by the father. And so we have some personal issues that I've been dealing with, and that's probably why I haven't been as active as I usually am. But you will see a new, improved Greg Johnson coming forward.
Yeah, guys, we can't have the back and forth, but thank you, Greg. Yeah. Anybody else want to come up and speak? My other little Italian American?
That's right. I'm a little taller.
Yeah, you are. You got a couple inches on me.
But I got it. Gary Veltri, Raglan Drive.
Yeah.
If this application gets sent back to the Land Use Board, will you or council vote against it?
So I'm not ducking this. Right, I'm not ducking this, but Joe, please, yes.
I apologize, Jerry, I just have to step in.
Sure.
And I do it because I have to, right?
Yes, I understand.
They can't prejudge something, right? So what would happen, you're talking about the lawsuit that was filed?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's going to go to court, right? The judge will make a decision as to whether it was properly approved or whatever. If it gets sent back, it starts anew, right? And it's a brand-new trial, brand-new hearing. So they can't comment and prejudge as to how they would vote before they heard something.
And let me make that really concrete for
Right.
you. So I'm actually doing you a favor, but I feel that came off wrong. But let's just say I stood up here and said, I hate it, and it's the worst thing on earth, whatever. If the applicant can claim that the mayor was unduly influencing and sue the borough, and then you'd have the counter effect, and a judge could say, yep, the mayor put his finger on the pulse, and that's what happened. It was unbiased. So I really can't comment on that.
In simpler terms, if they said they were going to vote one way or the other, the applicant, after it got denied, could then run to court and say they didn't give him a fair trial.
I got you.
A fair
Yeah.
hearing.
But I
So
will-
that, it could hurt either side.
I will say this, I don't know, based on the ruling, if I will be able to vote, because it's either a 7-man board or a 9-man board. I think there's an open question as to which one it can be, so.
Now, if it goes beyond 2024,
I knew you were going there. I was
okay,
going to get there.
so
Yep.
will we
So-
accept an application in 2025?
So what has been said by this board, right, and I'll say it for them and ask them not to say it,
Yep.
is that each of these conditional approvals or licenses, the one in particular that is the subject of a lawsuit, is on a time limit. It's on a clock, and that clock expires December 31st. So if it is
24.
not perfected, right, so if it's not fully approved by that time, they did not satisfy the condition by having a fully approved license by the time the clock runs out.
Okay.
What I heard this board say is they are not inclined in 2025 to renew any licenses.
That is as lawyered up as we can say it.
Okay.
But
Was that clear for you?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, but they
Heard what I
can,
said.
they can reapply in 25.
No, what I said is, there is, what this board has been saying for the
Doesn't
past two
satisfy the board,
meetings
yes.
is that there is no appetite to accept new applications in 2025.
Okay, got
So
you.
if they don't make it by the deadline,
it's a
I
whole
don't
new
know if
ballgame.
there's another clock starting.
We're clear on that.
All right?
Thank you.
You got me?
Yep.
All right. I'll see you in court, Jerry.
Anybody else? Yeah, come on, Tina. Oh, it's getting hot in here now.
Can we get some air?
Yeah, I was freezing before.
Those questions.
Okay. Tina Shores, Avon Street.
Yeah.
My question is about 15324. What improvements are you guys planning on making on Avon and Berwyn? I'm just wondering, because they do need a few improvements.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I love this one. So we plan on doing the curbing. We plan on doing the blacktop. We plan on doing the aprons, correct? Certain
Aprons and sidewalks.
And sidewalks. So basically the whole bells and whistles, like we've been doing the past other streets. So
And what are the chances they're getting another like street light at the end of the street? Because there's like one part of Avon, the street that I'm on, we don't have a street light at the very
which end are you talking about?
Um,
Towards Westfield Ave
no,
or
towards McGee.
Oh, McGee? Okay, no, we could have a discussion. I don't
It's
think.
kind of dark.
We can put in a request for it.
Listen, quite frankly, you're about to give up something. I wanted to
Well,
bother
there's one
them.
on the other side, but it's not a street light. There's this, there's a pole, and I guess it's all the wires, but then, is it possible we could get one on that side?
Yeah, I think we could probably work something out. I can't make any promises, but that's something we could look into. I actually was gonna, I actually was walking around the community myself, and I seen a couple of dark areas, which I was gonna pitch to mayor and council, but since there was a lot of money being spended, I was holding it and reserving it, and I was gonna just do it for the next budget, where I wanna go around the community, and those dark areas, I wanna kind of light them up, if the community is open to that, to try to prevent some of the, Cadillac converters and all the other type of things that we have going on, and, from outside Roselle Park, people coming here doing things. So that was my hopes, at least.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Haven't made it through the gauntlet? Can we talk after the meeting? I can't have you back up. We'll talk after. I'll answer your question after. Okay, anybody else want to come up and ask questions? I'm seeing no one. Okay. May I have a motion to close the public portion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's up? Was it 9:20? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just trying to beat it. Was it 9:20 on the dot? No shit. We were taking bets on how long it would go.